well into December, and today I'm super excited because we're finally gonna go pick up our Christmas tree. Still rocking the Osmo Nano, like loving this thing. And today I'm gonna talk about how the Nano has gotten better. And one of the reasons it's gotten better is because they just updated it to allow you to finally monitor yourself while your microphone is connected. Now, unfortunately, they did not make this update so you can monitor yourself while you're actually recording. So I'm currently recording, and you can see that you get that black screen, but right up until the moment when you hit record, you can actually see yourself. You can make sure you're in frame, which is still a big difference because there are times when you set the camera up and once you plug that microphone in, you can't see yourself. So it's a little bit of time that creates a bit of efficiency, and you simply need as much efficiency as possible when it comes to creating. My whole thing with this camera is I have it, I carry it, it's always in my pocket because it's even smaller than the Pocket 3. Today, we're gonna get into a little bit more. I'm gonna show you a couple of things I've been using, and we're gonna have some fun. So let's talk about how the DJI Osmo Nano has continued to get better thanks to the latest update and, DJI just listening to their customers. Pictures mean more than pixels, and the Nano perfectly fits that philosophy. The more I use it, the better I am at identifying magnetic surfaces when I'm out, and the more efficient I become with capturing moments as they happen. If my life's a movie, I want it to be a documentary. Real moments, raw emotion, and finding the beauty in the edit. It's definitely a different mindset than I used to have, but it's the one that's allowed me to capture the most meaningful parts of my life.
Can't sit here.
Don't hog the nog, bro. So we are at Home Depot picking up our Christmas tree. Last year, I didn't get any footage of it, but we definitely had an incident. This guy cut me in line. I didn't want to be a rebel rouser, but I almost had to duke up this old man because he definitely cut me off. And then when I told him, he was like, and I was like, well, you don't want to get back behind me? He's like, I'm already here. What? I know it's Christmas, but best believe you can catch these hands. Got some Christmas cheer for you, you know what I'm saying? It was 6'7", yeah.
Okay, I got you.
6'7". Is that what you were doing with the 6, 4, 5, 6, 7? We're waiting for our tree to get put on the car. This dude is tripping a little bit. Now back at home, I still use my mirrorless camera. Image is great, low light is solid, but every day, the hassle of carrying it just reminds me why I rarely take it out of the house these days. Tripods and lenses, they just slow me down. These memories are priceless, but capturing them on such a large setup is becoming less and less worth it every day. All right, so we got the tree up, but let's talk about the newest firmware update for the DJI Nano. Added support for playback when the camera is used separately from the Vision dock. Added support for live view on the Vision dock when the camera is linked to a DJI mic transmitter and used separately from the Vision dock, allowing you to preview the frame before recording. So this is a pretty robust update, but the bigger things are the ones that we've already talked about, right? The fact that now you can preview yourself on the video. I definitely noticed that some of the displays are a little bit different now, but the bigger things are, of course, the ability to actually check your playback when you're not linked to the Vision dock, and the ability to use a DJI mic transmitter and still be able to preview yourself right up to the point of recording. These features are some of the biggest complaints that people had because they were the most jarring when you got into real world usage of this camera. And now that they've been resolved, I'm looking forward to a much better experience. But notably, there was no big changes to anything regarding overheating. But I will say I've now had this camera for a full month and it has not overheated one time. Now, it's been a little bit colder. I'm not doing any creation action sports. I'm not saying that this is going to be for everybody, but for my use case, which is vlogging, which is holding the camera, sometimes I leave it recording and I keep it in my pocket. I've had a couple situations like that where it recorded for over 20 minutes. Didn't overheat, there was no overheating warning, and I was able to just continue recording. I primarily shoot 4K 24. I'm not doing a ton of slow-mo, and whenever I do, it's typically short bursts of between 2 and 3 minutes. Nothing more is really necessary to me. I haven't had any issues, and the omission of any notes regarding overheating aren't that big of a deal. But while I've got you, let's talk about some other things that I've done to make the Nano better. Primarily in my last video, I talked about how I taped my Nano using black paper tape, which provided a little bit more support. So I've dropped this camera quite a few times. You go to stick it with the magnet, but the surface that you're trying to stick it to is not magnetic. Camera falls, hits the ground. But because I have this black paper tape, it adds a separate layer of cushion So it's helping the camera stay in mint condition. I added it, not for that reason. I really just wanted to cover up the white letters from the DJI because it made the camera less discreet, which is not what I wanted. And there's also a bit of like a shine to the camera body. So this paper tape made it more of a matte look, so it blends in so much better. I highly suggest that you tape the camera body, if for nothing more than just to make it more discreet. The one thing I love about the way I taped it, like initially, I didn't tape it that great. Initially, I was pretty self-conscious about my tape job because I was like, oh, that looks so terrible. But then when I started putting it out in the field and sticking it to places and walking a little bit further away from the camera, what I realized is that it looks kind of shitty. And because of that, no one thinks twice about it. The caveat to that, of course, is when I put my ND filter on, it sticks out quite a bit. And yeah, now it looks like a camera. But let's talk about the ND filter. Now, when I originally got the Nano, I bought a 4-pack of ND filters, which was nice, nice range. But I found myself having to go in there and change out the filters, which was a little bit slow. And I'm all about speed. I'm all about workflow. And that was not going to work for me. And I was looking for a variable ND and I could not find one at the time. However, I did discover a post on Reddit where someone mentioned that you can use the same size filters from the DJI Action 4 and 5. So I ended up ordering this set of ND filters from Newer. You get the variable ND. Then you also get a quarter diffusion as well as a polarizer, so you can get rid of all the reflections from the light. So this is a really nice set. I think I spent $32. This is probably the most complete set of ND filters I've ever even seen made for anything in terms of like the range of what you get. Highly suggest you pick up this Newer ND filter set. I'll go ahead and put a link in the description below. But again, if you find another variable ND that's smaller and not like so wide on the body so it's not so obvious, then yeah, I would recommend that one. But I love the fact that DJI made it so that all of the filter sets are compatible, because that's just one less thing to buy. And it just, DJI just really seems to be listening to their customers. Video is not sponsored by them. I don't have any allegiance to them. Like, I just really like the way they hear a problem and they seem to get moving on it. I'm really happy that they're doing that, and hopefully they continue to do so, because other than the overheating, which I haven't experienced, this has just become my new favorite camera. Like, I love everything else I have, but this is the one I always have on me. And I had some questions come up about how to get more interesting shots with a GoPro or a small camera, and this seems like an appropriate time to do it. So the Nano comes with this magnetic attachment, which gets you down to a 1/4 thread. But I also have this little clamp. Like, there's some really big magic arms out there, but because this camera is so small, you don't necessarily need a full magic arm. Just the clamp is probably fine in a lot of situations. But this is just another added accessory for those times when you can't use the magnet, or maybe you're riding a bike, or just kind of whatever you have going on. Like, this just gives you a few more options, and this is a pretty cheap accessory. If you have a GoPro or a DJI Action or any other small camera, once you get down to the 1/4 thread, you have a lot of options. But definitely be creative. And you know what? Added bonus, because I just thought of it. Let me show you what else I've been doing. Velcro. Because this camera is so small and so light, if you don't have a magnet, fine. You could literally tape this camera up to something. Or if you get some pretty good Velcro, you can Velcro it to things. You have got a ton of options, but remember, like, this is about being creative. This idea did not come to me because it was advertised on the DJI website. It was just some Velcro I had laying around, and I was like, oh yeah, I could probably use that in certain situations. This clamp was an accessory that I was originally using for a camera monitor, not even for a camera at all. And I just had it laying around, and I was like, oh yeah, 1/4 thread, it's standard. You'll figure out how you can create something cool with the tools you have if you start using them. So thank you to DJI for making the DJI Nano just a little bit better. I hope these additional ideas gave you something to think about, and I will see you guys real soon.